I Like to Go There podcast. It's your girl MJ. I'm here with some of my favorite people. We got Black and we got Alicia. So today we're going to be talking about Black families and IVF and just the hardships of what we have to deal with, and as far as going through, IVF process. And this is a personal topic to me because I actually went through it myself. So, I would like to welcome Black and welcome Alicia to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much. So, one of the things that I experienced, during the process of trying. So for me, it was 4 years for my husband and I of us trying. And one of the things that just kind of just really irks out of me is, when you're trying so hard and then you have the sexy reds of the world who, are the raw dog queen. And it just happens effortlessly for them. Did you experience anything or can probably relate to that?
Yes, very much so. I remember when we were trying and it was like people were just getting pregnant left and right. Like, it was like Oprah. You'll get a baby. You'll get a baby. And I'm like, but where's mine? Right. So, yeah, it was the same. It was just like, okay, so when is it going to be my turn? Right. And it's like, and then you see people that not necessarily should not be parents become parents. You're just like, really? Like, really? Is this what we're doing? Okay. So, yes.
I can remember we had just had a cycle, and as you mentioned, one of those people who should not be parents had just told us that they had had an abortion.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I can just remember thinking, like, God, I mean, you could have just gave me that child. I mean, I would have loved it. I would have saved it, And I was just like, wow, you could just do that so effortlessly. And then, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Exactly what you're talking about. How long did you guys go through that process?
I don't know. It depends on you, Queen.
Years?
At least.
Like three and a half years.
Yeah, because I think, we tried, was it something UI? It was something before IVF.
We did other stuff before we did IVF. That was like our last. So we did other, So, like 3.5 years. So almost the same time as you guys. So
Yeah.
So for us, it was 6 IUIs.
Yes.
About the same.
Mm-hmm.
We did, I think, 3.
At least, yeah.
3 of those, but we did stuff before that, and then we did inject. It was just a lot. We did everything.
I think at some point.
Listen, we're going to go there.
All right.
We're going to go there because that's one of the things. And for people who don't know, IUIs, it's just another, I could say, acronym for having semen, of course, entered into the uterus of the woman. So that way she can get pregnant. So that's pretty much what it is. When going through those cycles, and then you get your hopes up and, you think it's going to happen this time. And, it's like, it's so frustrating, that 2-week wait. So then there's a 2-week wait.
TWW.
Right. That you got to, all the acronyms.
There's so many. It's a whole nother language.
Right. It's a whole nother language. Acronyms, abbreviations for everything. And, when you get that BPP, I mean, BFP, is it BFP?
Yeah, BFP.
Yes. You're big, fat, positive, right? Then it's like it makes it all worth it. What made the difference? What would you say made the difference in you guys' experience with IVF? Was it the doctor change? Was it just an IVF? Was it just the procedure itself?
So I had the same doctors the entire time.
Okay.
I think it was just we wanted to go the least invasive route first.
Gotcha.
So we were like, okay, let's try this other stuff too, obviously because IVF is so expensive too. So we were like, all right, let's go least invasive, see if we can not have to spend all that money, but it didn't work. So at that point, we were like, forget it. Like, let's just spend the money and knock it out. And it worked first try for us, which we're so grateful and so lucky because even then, it's still not a guarantee. Like, I have friends that went through several cycles of IVF before it worked. So we were very lucky and blessed in that aspect. But yeah, like, we went through multiple stuff with the same, like, my regular OB and then our fertility doctor. So, yeah, it was definitely a process.
Gotcha. And for you, there's a lot of focus obviously on what the woman has to go through, right? But nobody talks about the dichotomy and the internal turmoil that the man goes through. Anything that you may have wanted to share about that, or I guess you tell me what was the internal turmoil that you were dealing with.
Yeah, I think for many men, it's just a matter of being supportive throughout the entire process, right? It does change kind of like the dynamic of, just the entire process itself, right? So you think that, normally you would, just be intimate and then, out comes a baby. But, you start kind of talking about all the different procedures and the different terms, as you guys are saying. Y'all know them far better than I do. I said UI earlier. I didn't know what the first acronym or the first letter of the acronym was. So it becomes a lot to keep up with, but you want to make sure that you're supportive in every way so that you can just kind of be there for your woman, and to make sure that you're following the process and trusting the doctors. And a lot of times they know what they're doing and know what they're talking about, and you just pray that things work the way that they should.
Gotcha. Were there any feelings of inadequacy, when it came down to us trying? Was there a feeling of inadequacy on either ends?
Well, we went through like all the different like testing and everything, so we knew it was me. Like, he's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't know that there is male infertility. So sometimes
Right.
it is the guy and it's not the woman, but the woman still has to go through all the other stuff. So, but in our situation, it was me, not him. So he was more of like a supporting role, like he said, and I was the one that was like carrying all of like the guilt and like, oh God, so. But that's not always the case. Like, I have friends that it's not the woman and it was their spouse or their partner, and she had to not only be supportive of him because they're in that situation, but she still had to go through everything. And so, yeah, that's a whole nother.
Right.
Yeah.
Another topic.
Okay. It's a whole nother podcast.
Whole nother podcast. And so when you said that it was you, what specifically, if you don't mind talking about?
So I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And how does that affect the fertility piece?
So what PCOS is basically your body doesn't complete the ovulation process. So it'll start, and then your body doesn't release the egg. So there's no egg. There's nothing for the sperm to find, right? Wow. So then, can't have a baby without an egg. So basically with IVF, it circumvented that process. And so that's what it was.
Gotcha. For my husband and I, it was very frustrating because it was unexplained. Infertility. So cycles were fine, blood work was fine, right? But on both of our parts, and it's just like 4 years. 4 years every year, and you guys know every year is like, okay, all right, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? And what changed for us was we had a Black doctor, and that's what did it for us, because she knew exactly what to look for in a Black woman. And I was just like, are you kidding me? We could have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. It is a very expensive, very tedious process, and so that's what changed. That's what made the difference for us. It was indeed a Black doctor, and I can remember, and I don't know if this is your experience, I can remember walking into the office and not seeing another Black face. Was that you guys' experience as well?
No, I had a Black fertility doctor from day one.
And how about the other patients? Were you able to see, let me say, other patients?
It's diverse. It was a very diverse office. Doctors, patients, everybody. Just a little bit of everything in there.
No, that's awesome. So my experience was I didn't see any Black patients. So for us, when I hear the statistics that it's only 4% of, Black families that are going through the IVF process, obviously finances are going to be one of the biggest factors that are going to contribute to it, right? But then it's just like, wow, and I know that it's more of us that are dealing with infertility issues, but Either we don't want to talk about it, either we're ashamed of it, or we don't have the resources for it.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is. I think the economics behind it is, like you said, like the financial burden, right? And a lot of times that's not the most important piece, but you said it, the knowledge is, right? Just not knowing where to go or what to do unless you open up and be transparent about stuff. And, I just praise Alicia for being that open and transparent about things. And like you said, we did have a Black doctor, so she did kind of know what to look for. And she was the one that kind of pushed us over the hump to like, all right, guys, we did everything else. It's time, right? Time to go IVF. It's going to work. I know it is. And she stood by it, and it actually worked first time.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yep.
I tell you, it makes a difference. I believe it makes a difference, in the process of having someone that looks like you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we didn't have that. So
That's tough.
that it makes it very tough and then you also become afraid to communicate.
That's right.
So to even advocate for yourself, you don't even know what to ask for. As a Black woman that's going through the IVF process, as you mentioned earlier, you just think it's going to happen, the natural way, right? And so not knowing what to ask for and not having the knowledge, not understanding exactly what it is to look for, all those things come into play. But when you have someone who looks like you, who understands it, has done the research, went to school for it, has the experience, changes everything. And that's what made the difference for us. So, okay. All right. Is there, hard question.
Okay.
We're ready. We got the warm up out the way.
Listen,
We're good. We're ready.
I like to go there. And we're going to go there. So during this process, you have your partner there. They tell your partner, oh, here's the room that you can go into. Did you go in there with them?
Mm-mm.
Just me.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I didn't know that was an option, though.
Really?
They just separated us. Just say, hey, Daniel, this
go
is
in
your
there.
room.
Wow.
I think I was too nervous. I was like, I don't want to go in there and mess up anything. I'm over here in my zone, like,
Right.
see you later, I guess,
Right.
when I wake up.
Okay. So was it that you said you didn't know that you could, or just kind of like, was it a shame? Or?
No, I just didn't.
Yeah.
I just wanted to focus on my part.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Understood. So not one time? Never? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Yeah. It looks like I didn't listen. It looks like I didn't have an option
Yeah.
to stay out the room. So, So that's okay. I understood. How was that? And again, like I said, I want to understand. From a man's point of view, like, what's your mindset when you have to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to do that, and then it's just like my baby in another room. She's counting on me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, is it going to work this time?
Yeah.
I mean, will you tell me what your thought process was?
Well, I mean, I treated it like it was like a championship or something, right? Like,
Yes, a
So-
championship.
All right. So before we even got to the point where we split up and going to the rooms again, which we didn't know that was an actual option. I was working out like crazy. I was running.
Hilarious.
I was meditating, praying. I was doing everything to be in my top form. Because I knew that whatever it was that day, right, like that's what we were going to use, right? It was going to be the best quality, right, at that point.
Right.
So I treated that like it was my moment to make sure that I did my part. Like
Yeah.
Alicia said, like she treated it like her moment to do her part. So I don't remember thinking about it. I just remember just executing and just doing it, right? And I didn't care how or what or anything like that. I just made it happen. I didn't take any magazines in there. It was just
Get it.
go. I ain't videos or anything. I was like, all right, I'm locked in. I know
Gotcha.
what I need to do. I'm do my part.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that was, I think, the only physical piece that I remember kind of trying to exert myself to a point to make sure that I got it done. Everything else was mental and supporting her.
Did you fast at all? Like take a I guess a fast of sorts, if you will.
I think it was just consciously eating healthy and doing the right stuff. So I mean, like no fasting. I'm tell you something about me. Like I have to eat right before anything, right? Or I have to.
He's an angry person.
I'm a hangry person. So
Real bad.
in any of those appointments where there was a long one or a short one, like Alicia was really good at this. Make sure that we actually ate before we went because me being hungry.
I just didn't want to deal with the attitude. I was just like, please eat. You have to go.
You can blame it on high metabolism, which I think is going to suit our kids pretty well. So,
And how about for you? How was that feeling of, because you guys didn't have the option? Was there anything in you that was just like, I kind of want to be there for my husband. I want to be there to, you know what I mean, kind of help along that process. Is there anything in you that was just like, hey, I want to be there?
Oh, like in the room?
Okay.
No. I was like, you focus on that.
right.
I'm going to go over here.
Right.
See you on the other side.
Right.
Like,
Everybody
it was
take care of
very
their
like, 1, 2, 3, team, go.
Right.
Like, all right. That's what it was.
Okay. So let me ask, what was the most emotional part during the process that you guys experienced together?
Let you go first.
I don't know. Like, I think transfer day was probably the most emotional.
Got it.
Well, prior to him being born, but
Of course.
up until that point, transfer day, because it's like, it's here. Like, all of this is finally, like, happening.
Yeah.
So, I think it was transfer day for me.
Gotcha. And how about for you, Black?
Not that she brings it up, transfer day was up there. But I'll tell you something that was like more emotional on a daily basis to me. It was, and Alicia probably remembers this, but, or anyone else that does IVF process would know this, but, there's days where you go one cheek, next cheek, right? You switch.
Yes.
Oh,
The shot. So what
the
they're talking
shots, of
about
course.
is
That's
are the shots that
Yeah.
Women have to take daily in order to either either keep the pregnancy once the transfer happens, or just to make sure that it helps it along once it
Right.
happens. So yeah.
So I'm real bad with needles. I don't know how this is. I have tattoos, but it's something about needles going into your bodies and injecting blood or blood showing up, period. And as the partner, that's kind of your role,
That's
right?
your role.
That's what you need to do.
What a role.
So,
Yeah.
I remember having severe, like, not severe, but at least, a certain level of anxiety, like when I had to go and do it, right?
Yeah.
She just like, just stick it in there. Just go. I'm like, I'm going slow and it's hurting more, right? So
Okay.
I think for me, like, that piece right there was, like a daily type of emotional task, right? Because, I don't know, that's just a thing of mine. I just have a fear of needles, right, in that aspect. So I had to overcome that in order for us to move forward. Yeah.
So that was an emotional part.
That was, yeah. Yep.
And with you, how were you able to comfort him in those times?
He never told me that till right now.
Oh,
I know he didn't
I
like
just figured it
needles,
out.
but like,
Just did it.
he was just like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "I don't have a choice. Like, come
Yeah.
on, like, just hurry up. Like, let's get it over because it hurts. That needle is long
It is.
and that oil is
Liquid, yeah.
thick and it just makes knots. And you're just like, please hurry up." And he's just like, I'm like, hurry up. So it's just like, and you're trying to like breathe through it because it hurts.
Mhm.
And so it's just like, but then he was like, "Oh, I made it bleed." I'm like, "It's okay. Just give me the Band-Aid or whatever." Yeah, but
Yeah, she's such a trooper when it comes to that. I remember one time we were actually out. We were
I was at a work function.
was at a work function. She remembers this, and we had to take the stuff with us. You have to keep it cool too, right? So it's got to,
exactly.
we had like a cool pack, and it has to be at a certain time every day,
Every day.
no matter what.
Yep.
Like
And
birth control.
The work function in which we were celebrating her and her team's success and some real estate deals.
Mm-hmm.
The work function was during that time, and it was a secret to us. Just like no one else knew was doing this. So
Wow.
we had our bag with us,
Yeah.
and when it was time, she went to the restroom, and I remember you trying to do it yourself. And then
Yeah.
then she went and called me in,
And I
She was
messed
like,
it up. And I
"I
was
need some help."
like, oh,
And
I messed
Was
up.
it like the powder mix with the?
No, it was the oil.
I say it was the sesame oil with.
Yeah, so I had
Okay,
to like,
gotcha.
I literally had to like walk around and secretly like in my shirt for like an hour,
Yeah.
like under here, so it could get warm, So
Yeah.
because normally at home you use the heating pad and you
Yeah.
warm it up
Right.
and all that, but we didn't have that, so I had to walk around. Like an hour. And then I was like, all right, it's been an hour,
Right.
like
I remember her calling me to the restroom. Like I don't know if you tried to do it yourself already.
I did.
Then I went in that restroom, Melissa. My phobia with needles and blood,
It was bad.
and I was like, she got back on dress, and I was like, it's blood everywhere.
It was just like I had like hit like a nerve or something.
It was blood.
And so it was like bleeding. But I had Band-Aid. But I was just like, as long as I don't bleed through my dress, I don't care.
Wow.
Girl, yes. It was a mess.
Right.
Wow.
We had just transferred Matt
And we did.
like a few days before.
That's right.
So we didn't even know.
Wow.
Wait, did we know?
We did know. That's what we're still going through.
We were waiting.
Yeah.
It was
We were
during
just
that
going through the
week.
process.
Yeah.
Right? You just get through that process, and it doesn't even
I
matter.
think
You
we
just
had
go.
we had just transferred him. No, we did know. Because remember, I remember we transferred him February 15th. My birthday's February 21st. I was like, I need to know because I'm turning 30. And if I'm going, I need to know if I'm a drink or not. So I tested on day 4 and I knew. So I knew before my birthday. And that thing was like that weekend after.
Okay, you're right.
All right, welcome back. I like to go there podcast. It's your girl MJ Brown, and we have Alicia and Black with us, and we're just wrapping up the conversation. So, Black families, IVF, again, it's something very near and dear to me. So I've gone through it, and so I'm just grateful for you guys for taking the time out to share your story with us. And is there any advice that you guys can give to another Black family that may be going through this?
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Okay.
Don't give up.
All right. Black.
I say the same thing. And patience as well too. Just be patient. I think earlier we brought up Sexy Red, right? Or just, and like no knock on Sexy Red, anybody else that make
you don't need to be having no kids.
Ma'am.
Right.
You don't need to have no kids. Go ahead.
But just anybody, like, no knock on anyone that's able to do this right naturally without having to go through the process. But the folks that do, right, just be patient, have perspective, and there's always two sides to it, right? So you need to make sure that whether you're the male or the woman, the male or the woman, you just got to kind of be there for one another and be patient.
Absolutely. I would say for me, if you are the Black family, or if you are looking to go through the IVF process, it's very important to have a support partner. I would strongly recommend that you are within a strong relationship or a marriage before embarking on that process, because it's a hard one. It's a long one. But having someone there is going to be very advantageous, because it's emotional, it's spiritual, and not just physical. So you're gonna need that there. So that's my advice. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. And again, MJ Brown here. I like to go there. We went there today.
We did.
We went there. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you guys again for coming. I love you both.
Love you too.
So hey, that's it. All right, we wrapping up. We out.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yay, good job, guys.